Family who live in Derbyshire. Now to the patch stop with today's Playdays.
It's a play bus. But where does it go? Where does it stop? Watch for the sign of the lollipop. It's a patch stop. With Peggy Patch.
Peggy Patch is out today. She's found a patch to stop and play. Where will it be? Who will she meet? Has Peggy stopped at the end of your street? The bus has stopped. Peggy's got off. But where is she today? Can you guess? I'll give you some clues. A place with fields all around. A yard with barns and sheds. And animals. One kind of animal. Can you hear them? Where is she? She's at a sheep farm in Wales. And the sheep have had their lambs, so there are a lot of lambs too. Peggy wants to look round. Why don't you look round with her? All the sheep have a different call. That's how they recognise each other. The lambs recognise the ewes' call. The ewes are the mothers. Don't seem to recognise me though. Sheep mostly eat grass, but sometimes they need extra goodness. Over there's a liquid feed. A container is full of liquid goodness. And the sheep lick the ball in the middle, like that one's doing, and the ball rolls around and gets coated in the liquid. They're fighting over it at the moment. They seem to enjoy it though. Here's something else they enjoy. Sheep nuts. They're not really nuts. They're pellets, especially for sheep. See if they want some of these. Here you are. Here you are. Come and get it. Woo. Oh, yes. Good for munching on. Mind the fingers. There's always lots of work to do on the farm all year round. And lots of special equipment to use. Can you guess what these are for? Switch them on. They're shears, and they're used to cut the sheep's coat. When the weather gets warmer, the sheep don't really need their woolly coats, so they have them cut off. Only takes a shearer about 3 or 4 minutes to shear a sheep using those. What do you think the sheep look like afterwards? They're all skinny and bald, as if they've been shaved all over. But their coat soon grows back when it gets cold. Peggy's friend Ginny works on the farm, and she knows what other jobs there are to do.
This time of year we do dosing, when the lamb's about 6 weeks old. It's to get rid of the, well, clean them out really after winter feeding. And when there's fresh grass, it helps them to thrive on, get rid of worms and things like that. The feet get sore, it's because of the nail grows, and you just trim that off, and then you walk them through like a foot bath thing when in September to clean them out thoroughly ready for winter. Well, we paint the lambs for a ewe lamb on the shoulders and for a ram lamb on top of the tails, which is handy for us to recognise in the fields. If it's a nice ewe lamb, we can keep for ourselves, or if not, we just sell it off in the market.
Peggy's found another creature to say hello to. Say hello to this creature. A creature with a black and white face, ears that are always moving, who lives in a kennel and looks after the farm. It's a border collie. Hello. Farm dogs live outside all year round because they've got a job of work to do. They've got their own kennels, but they're not always friendly to strangers. This is Kay, and she's only 7 months old. She hasn't got her own kennel yet. She's a lot to learn about being a farm dog. Peggy knows some border collie puppies. They're only 9 weeks old. Can you see all the different markings on them? Peggy, you look as though you're enjoying that book. The title's in Welsh.
Yes, it's called Storiau Cornel y Cae, or Stories from the Corner of the Field. One day, when it was nearly dinner time, Caradog Cwningen the rabbit went to the kitchen and opened his food cupboard to look for something for his dinner. But oh dear, what a disappointment. His cupboard was empty, except for one shriveled yellow cabbage leaf. "Ugh," said Caradog. "I can't eat this old cabbage leaf. I'll have to go and look for some more food." He reached for his sack, threw it over his shoulder, and out he went. Caradog hurried to Mr. Pugh's vegetable field and slipped under the gate without any trouble. The first things he saw were rows of potatoes, but he didn't want potatoes. At last, he was standing by rows of tasty carrots. Oh, what a lovely smell! He went to the nearest carrot and started to burrow with his paws. He pulled and pulled with all his strength, and suddenly the carrot became loose and Caradog fell on his tail onto the soil. Having put the carrot into his sack, he went back for 5 more. Now he had 6 carrots in his sack. The sack was nearly full, but there was enough room for 1 small cabbage in it as well. Caradog lifted his head and saw a row of round green cabbages. He chose one cabbage which fitted exactly into his sack. Carrying his sack on his back, he crossed the fields and was so pleased when he saw the gate because by now the sack was getting heavier and heavier. "Oh, hooray!" he said. "I'm nearly home." He was looking forward to his delicious dinner. He hurried to the gate and lay flat on the ground to get under it. "Oh!" he said suddenly. "I can't move." The full sack was on his back, and he was now stuck under the gate. Caradog tried to push himself forward, but he couldn't move either way. "Oh, what can I do?" asked Caradog, starting to cry. Luckily, who happened to fly past at that moment but Dick Derrindee the blackbird. "Goodness me, Caradog," said Dick. "I'm stuck under the gate, Dick. Will you help me?" "I'll do my best," answered Dick, as he pushed and pushed Caradog. "I'm not strong enough. How can a blackbird push a big rabbit like you? But I know what I'll do. I'll fetch Margaret Llagodi'n the mouse, Dio Drainog the hedgehog, and Thomas Twrch Daiar the mole. Don't worry, Caradog, we'll soon get you free." "Oh, thank you, Dick," said Caradog, wiping a huge tear away with his paw. Dick hurried to Primrose Street to get his friends, and it wasn't long before they were all by the gate. They all looked at Caradog, wondering which was the best way to free him. "I know," said Thomas Twrch Daiar. "Dio and Margaret can pull Caradog's front feet, and Dick and I can push from behind. We ought to free him that way." "OK," they all said, hurrying to their places. Dio and Margaret puffed, and Dick and Thomas panted as they pulled and pushed. But still Caradog didn't budge. "Caradog, what have you got in that sack?" asked Margaret. "Food," said Caradog. "Carrots and a cabbage." "I'm going to chew a hole in the sack," said Margaret, "and take one of the carrots out. Then the sack will be smaller, and you'll be able to squeeze under the gate." "Very good," they exclaimed, clapping their hands. Margaret started to chew and chew the sack until there was a hole big enough for her to take the largest carrot out. "The sack is much smaller now," Margaret said. "Try and move, Caradog, and we'll all push. After 3, 1, 2, 3. Everyone pushed, and hooray! Caradog was free. "Oh, thank goodness," said Caradog. "Thank you all, friends, and a special thank you to Margaret." "There's a big hole in your sack," said Margaret. "But don't worry, I'll get some wool from the sheep tonight, and I'll darn your sack tomorrow. And now come with me, and I'll prepare your dinner for you." And that was the best dinner Caradog had ever had.
Do you know what that is? It's called a spindle. It's an old-fashioned way of spinning the wool. As we've got a potato at the bottom, and they've got the piece of wood, and you're supposed to twist this, and it winds the wool. Well, that's the idea of it anyway. Oh, there we go. Right, you hold it. If you hold it at the top, and you have a go at twisting it. That's it. Oh, it's unwinding. It's going the wrong way. We want it to wind up the other way, because then that gets really twisted and tight and starts to look like knitting wool or something, doesn't it? Why don't you see if you can collect any wool? Because I'm sure the sheep have left some around somewhere, haven't they? They leave it all on the fence, don't they? If we collect some, then maybe we could practice our spinning.
Yeah.
Off you go then. I think what you do is you pull it out and then you twist it as you pull it out. Peggy Patch's puzzle. There are a lot of sheep in the fields and on the hills. Who helps to round them up and bring them down into the farmyard? does. He's been specially trained so that when Ginny calls to him, he knows exactly what to do. He'll gather up the sheep into a flock so they can be brought down through the gate, along the track, without any getting away. Of wool about on this farm, isn't there?
Oh, yeah.
Do you think there's plenty of mud about? There's the tractor. After the tractor's been by, there might be some mud, mightn't there?
Yeah.
Hail the mud,
Hail the mud. Hail the mud.
everyone's off on a mud hunt. What makes mud? Water with earth or sand. Where's it found? Anywhere on the land.
Hail the mud. Hail the mud. Hail the mud.
Everyone's off on a mud hunt. Sun can bake it hard and brown. Soon gets sloshy when the rain comes down.
Hail the mud. Hail the mud. Hail the mud.
Pictures of this, pictures of that. I like your pictures, says Peggy Patch. Something you do or something you see. Why not draw it? Maybe send it to me. I thought I'd make a collage using wool that's already been spun and dyed and is ready for knitting. But I think we need to put a sheep in here. Add a head and some legs. Don't forget the border collie, a creature with a black and white face, ears that are always moving, who lives in a kennel and looks after the farm. Oh, the bus has arrived. Peggy, pack away your knitting. You can take it with you. Catch the bus. Peggy's off to find another patch for next week. See you there.